Husky Light, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Right, I said that I would make a video about some really strange things that have been going on with me recently, which are additional gifts coming through from the universe because I've awakened and my chakras are all open and they're starting to develop, and I'm sort of becoming more aware of it and sort of trying to get used to the new changes that are going on with me on a day-to-day basis, which is at times pretty crazy, but I will try and explain, and also explain how powerful you are as a spiritual being having a human experience. Once you've had an awakening, once you wake up, once your chakras are open, once you've had a Kundalini awakening, I've done loads of videos on those if you want to have a look. But what it means is, once you incorporate your third eye, your crown chakra on top, open your pineal gland, and your other chakras, your heart chakra, once all of these are open, you are then incorporating your sixth sense into your life. You're not just using your five senses, your normal five senses, hearing, taste, seeing, touching, feeling, smelling. You're not just using those five senses, you're then incorporating your sixth sense, which is your third eye chakra, which connected to your pineal and your crown. That connects you up to the universal consciousness, that connects you, and you realize that we are all one. We are all one universe, and we start to realize that there is so many infinite possibilities out there that we are blind to, that we cannot see when our third eye isn't open, when our heart isn't open. And so yeah, I've got this some of the gifts that I already have are developing and getting stronger every day as we move up through vibrations and higher frequencies as the earth is rising. And I've got one that I think I've had on and off, or I've had it on a very low level for years and years and years, but I've never connected the dots before. I've never put certain situations together and realized exactly what it was I've got. And I did a bit of research and I found out that I'm a slider, apparently. Now, to explain what a slider is, if none of you know, because there isn't a lot, I don't think there's a lot of us about, but I want you to comment below, please, because I know that some of you do. A slider is somebody who has an awful lot of electric energy in their bodies, and they can cause electrical disturbances in their reality around them. So for instance, I cannot wear a watch. I've never been able to wear a watch. It slows down, it stops, it doesn't work. So I've never been able to wear a watch. Gave up that a long time ago, and that's probably that is one of the simple things that I sort of noticed, which I've never really looked into as to why it would do that, why it would stop, why it wouldn't work. I just thought, I can't wear a watch. Then it led on to, it is very rare that I can get on Skype or on a Google Hangout, especially if I'm talking to somebody else who has a lot of energy. It's very rare I can actually get on at all and have a conversation with somebody, because Skype will malfunction. It will stop, it won't work, I'll get computer problems, my computer will freeze, I'll cause, especially if they've got high energy, I'll cause the other person's computer to freeze as well at the other end. So, and I can actually feel the energy running through me because I'm quite nervous as I'm talking about this because it's just a bit weird. Um, so, but there again, talking to your angels and being in touch with guides and angels and the higher universe and the universal consciousness, I used to think was highly strange when I first awakened and realized that's what I was doing. So I think it's something that you slowly get used to it, and you learn to incorporate it into your life every day. So I did a bit of research because when I had to take the cats down to Kent a couple of weeks ago. For those of you that have been subscribed a while, you'll know my situation. My daughter's allergic to just about everything at the moment, and I had a really nice subscriber in Kent who took my cats on. So I took my cats over to Kent a couple of weeks ago. And I think also part of the reason that this actually happened was she's pretty much on the same vibration as me. We have ridiculous things in common. Synchronistic wise, and she belongs to she's also a twin flame that belongs to part of my monad soul group, soul family, which is, and that's a whole other thing which I am going to start to get into more, because I'm almost now at a point where I can explain soul groups and soul families in a way that hopefully you can understand. But this one I want to just stick to what happened that week, and the fact that, you know, as we rise up, when we are awake, you will go through stages of new gifts coming through to you, or the gifts that you have or weren't quite aware of becoming much stronger as you develop them and as they get stronger every day. So anyway, stop prattling, woman. I took the cats down to Kent, and at one point I was in the car, and her name is Daniela, exactly the same as my name. I was in the car with her, and I was very upset, and my energies were very high. I was in quite an emotional state because I was leaving the cats with her because I'd taken them down there, and I was quite upset about it. Anyway, I was in the car with her, and her radio wouldn't work, her CD player wouldn't work, the volume wouldn't work, nothing. It just completely broke down. And I was very upset, and she was just like, oh, the radio, oh, what's wrong with the radio, it's not working and everything. Anyway, she wanted to take her daughter out to lunch, and she said, come and have a coffee with us, come out to lunch with us. And I said, look, and I was staying there, so I said, look, can you do me a favour, just drop me off at yours and just let me have a couple of hours on my own while I get centered and grounded. And she said, yeah, no problem. And she dropped me back at her house, and apparently as soon as she got back into the car, the radio came on again, the CD was fine, it was all playing, and it was all wonderful. So my high energy, my high emotions managed to mess about and turn a radio off and a CD player off. And we sort of laughed about it and went, oh, okay, that's strange. Anyway, later on that evening, I was stood out in her back garden talking to her, and I had my back to her fence in the garden, and she had a row of fairy lights, solar powered fairy lights, white fairy lights along the back of her fence. And as I was talking to her, her face just went, ah. I said, what's the matter? And she said, oh God, you're my angel. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, look behind you. And I looked behind me, and the fairy lights had lit up, and it was night time, but the fairy lights had lit up, but it was only the part directly behind me that had lit up. On the same circuit, electric circuit, the other half hadn't lit up. And even the ones behind me, there was like one lit and then two not lit, and then two lit, maybe another one not lit, and it was only in the vicinity behind me, which in my opinion, unless somebody's got a different opinion on this, is not pretty possible when it's on the same electrical circuit. And she just looked at me and she said, they have not worked since the day I bought them. They've never ever worked. They're just rubbish. They've never come on until I was stood there. So that caused a bit of, and at the time I noticed again, my emotions were very, very high. I was actually talking about my twin flame at the time, so my heart chakra was like bursting wide open. I was full of love and excited and talking about him, and my emotion was very high. So we came to the conclusion afterwards, and I've had lights flash off in front of me and things like that as well. So when I got home, I thought, oh, I need to investigate this. And what I realized was, when my energies are very high, when my emotions, it's connected to emotions and your heart chakra, when they are very high, they have an effect on your electrical field. And I'll explain why this is in a minute. But I sort of realized, if I'm sad or upset, as I was with the cats, and I've also blown fuses in my car as well. My dashboard lights have gone off, my headlights have gone off, just from thinking about it, not realizing how powerful that is to do. Always control your thoughts. I realized that day that I have no particular control over how this, I can't particularly control it, but my emotions obviously have a lot to play in it. So when I'm very upset and sad, I switch things off, or I'm fearful, and whatever my emotions are, that way I can switch things off. When my emotions are the opposite way and I'm very happy and excited and passionate, as with the fairy lights, I can switch the lights on. So this is when I have figured out how I can light all the lights in my house without paying the electric. I will let you know how to do that. At the moment I don't know how to do that, but that'd be really, really cool. But anyway, the reason for all of this, I found out when I did a little bit of research on it, is I'm called a slider, which is people who can cause electrical phenomena. Why can I never say that word? Yeah, electrical things to happen. So you've heard a lot about, probably when you've looked things up, people that can walk down the street and that they will light up the street lights as they walk past them, or they'll go out as they walk past them. And it's all to do with the emotion in you, and this is something that's linked to your third eye and your pineal gland, and being just completely connected to the universe. So what happens is, we have got, I'm going to read a bit of this as well because it is quite technical, scientific. We're getting into the realms of quantum physics and all sorts of things. Our body has an electrical field around it. Our bodies, our organs inside have our nervous system, and our nervous system is this never-ending network of nerve endings and things going on, and those nerve endings spark and send electrical impulses around your body, for your body to move, for things to go. It sparks up to your brain. If you need to move your arm, then electrical impulses and sparks will send a message up to your brain to tell you to move your arm. That's basically how it works. So we have all these electrical impulses around us. We have an electrical field around us as well, and the earth has an electrical field around it as well, as does everything on earth, has its own type of frequency electrical field around it. while I was doing this research, I actually found an article, and I can't find it again. I really wanted to find the diagram, that our heart chakra is so electric and has so much more power and so much more electric running through it, because obviously it's the centre of the body, it keeps the body alive, pumps the blood around the body. It has more electric in it and electrical impulses than the brain. More than your brain firing off things, it's your heart. This is why we say think with your heart, because your heart is so much more powerful than your brain, and it's the emotion that causes these things to happen. The diagram that I wanted to find, that I can't find, and I will have another look for it, but on the day of 9/11, when that happened, and I don't know if they did it when Princess Diana died or anything like that, but this particular one I found was 9/11. When everybody around the world found out about 9/11, there was an upsurge, a complete surge of pouring out of heart emotion, of sadness, of grief, of shock, of love for and empathy for what was going on, for what had happened. And because it was just about everybody in the world that had that when that happened, because we all watched the news and went, oh God, this is happening, it actually changed our heart chakras, sent a message out which actually affected the frequency of the earth. They showed a diagram of the earth's frequency, the electrical field, magnetic field around the earth, and it's sort of a little bit wavy, and it's usually like that. But when 9/11 happened and there was this surge of energy from all of us all over the world, we actually changed the electrical field of the earth. And it honestly, it's like that on the diagram. It just shot up, and we actually changed the world. We changed the earth from our outpouring of love and empathy and emotion, pure emotion. So our heart is so much stronger than our head. So think always with your heart, keep your heart chakra open. And so obviously this is something that I've come to learn as I've waken up, and you don't just wake up and poo, that's it. This is a continual process that you learn about every day, and you find new things out about. So we have got this supercharged, I'm going to read this a bit as well, bioenergy field, which is an aura around us. It's the human nervous system, because it's chemical and electrical in nature. Our neurotransmitters within our body are electrical impulses. So when we get emotionally wound up, our nervous systems literally light up. If you think of one of those old telephone switchboards where you're sticking all the phones in, it lights up like a switchboard like that. So when you're not awake, you still have this surge of electric, you still have all these feelings. It just doesn't affect electric and street lights and things. In people who already have a very high energy, when they get even more emotional, it can boost them up, where they actually do affect electrical systems around them, and other people can see it. You know, obviously I had a witness to that, and that's something I didn't know I have, but it's getting stronger and stronger. And people can blow light bulbs, say people can light up street lights or put them out, depending on how high it is and how awakened and aware and how open they are to their guides and angels. So it's very easily affected. So literally we give off sparks of electric, so that's really cool. But what the point I'm trying to make is, when we say think with our heart, give out love and compassion, with what happened on 9/11, we can change the world. If all of us could be awake and have that outpouring of love, we can change the world, because we can actually have a physical effect on the auric field, the electrical field around the earth, and change it. And if we can change that frequency, then that would bring on peace, and that would change things in so many different ways on the earth that we don't even realize yet. And it will happen, because we are having a mass awakening, but it will happen. So yeah, it's literally, when this happens, it's a shift in frequency. A lot of people who've had near-death experiences report being able to do this as well when they've come round again. So let me move my camera out of the way a little bit. Other sliders, we'll call sliders, have been struck by lightning, or they suffered a major electrical shock of some point in the past, in some way, and this has all brought on this ability. No, I haven't been shocked by anything electrical or anything. It's simply, in my case, because I've woken up. But before I was awake, I was aware that watches wouldn't work on me, so it's something I've always had, that has just got a lot stronger now, and is getting stronger on a daily basis as I get more and more in touch with the changes that are happening, which are very exciting and very cool. And you know, the gifts that you are given are amazing, because you don't have a complete understanding of how they are happening or why. And also, to other people who aren't awake, it's just completely wacky and weird. But it's simply because we are using this sixth sense, and it will happen differently for everybody. We'll all have mostly the same gifts, but some of us will come out with different gifts that we didn't know we had. The heart chakra is, and the heart, the amount of electric in it. I've heard of people that have heart transplants, and they will actually take on some of the traits or some of the personality traits of the person they've had a heart transplant from, because they're taking those energies into their own body by having somebody else's heart put inside them. So maybe they have a heart transplant, and somebody who has never been able to sing before can suddenly sing absolutely perfectly, or they suddenly turn into a world famous dancer because the person whose heart they have taken had that talent, that energy within them, and it is stored within the heart, and they take it on. This is how important it is. So some of you out there who have awakened, you may not be able to change lights and that, but you may have feelings of being really not liking electrical appliances around you, feeling weird or not feeling too well. If there's a lot of technology around you, you may also have a heightened an awareness of fluorescent lighting. Maybe in offices it will cause headaches, things like that. I know as well with the electrical, I have a headache when there is a storm coming, when there is an electrical storm coming, and I know automatically that the skies could be clear, but I will start to build up the pressure and get a headache, and it is the build up of the pressure of the storm coming, and the electricity, which will cause my headache. And as soon as that storm breaks, and we start having the thunder and the lightning and the rain and everything, as the pressure is relieving in the atmosphere, my headache will go again. But that's always, I can tell when it's going to start, and that's something I've had for years but never known. So I want to hear your comments on this, because again, it also promotes the fact that we do have to, because we are these powerful spirits having a human experience, this is why it's also so important for us to stay grounded, to stay calm when we can, to breathe, stay centered and balanced as much as we can, to help our emotions, keep our emotional side of ourselves more balanced as well. And if you can, you come to realize if you're using your lower chakras and it's sadness or anger or jealousy or nasty things that you're feeling, that can have just as much an effect on the universe as if you're using your upper chakras, your heart chakra, and having an outpouring of love, joy, sadness as well, unfortunately, at times. But this is how profound an effect you can have on the world, and this is how important it is for everybody in this world to start thinking through their heart and not through their head. Put every thought you have, everything you're about to do, every feeling, make sure you, instead of saying what do I think about this, say what do I feel about this, and see how it feels in your heart. And if it feels right and it feels joyful, that's what you go ahead with. That is what your right path is, because you are then thinking with your heart, not thinking with your left brain, with the logical side of your brain, because it's not as powerful as your heart chakra. So this is all about, I mean, the electrics and that is all about having that high vibration, and having an electric personality. And as I say, when I figured out how to light up everything without having to pay the electric, I will let you know. That will be good. But things that bring about inner peace for you and happiness, work on them to keep yourself in balance, because if your electrical field, your aura, can affect the world, you can also affect people immediately around you, and you can do that without realizing it. So if you're really angry or really wound up, that can have an effect on somebody else's electric field, their aura, their energy field as well. So it is very important to control and keep balanced always. Synchronicities I'm going to do tomorrow, I think, because of this heightening. I don't know if it's just an upsurge with the vibrations and everything going on, or maybe I've come to the end of a cycle and I'm starting another cycle, with it being my birthday on the 15th tomorrow. Maybe that's why it's so strong and getting stronger, because I'm learning so much at the moment. But yeah, I'm just really interested. I know that there is only at the moment a very, very small percentage of people in the world that have this ability, but I know that as people awaken, more people will find that. I definitely know that there is probably quite a high percentage of people that can't wear watches and that, but this is the beginnings of the potential that you have to change things. And it's just about connecting the dots, and instead of putting things in separate little boxes and splitting things up, looking at things in a way that connect together so that you can see the whole picture of things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, me going nutty as usual. No, these are gifts that I'm getting used to every day, integrating them and developing them without me actually knowing. I think it's just the more I open up to the universe, the more you trust and have faith that you are one, that you are consciousness, you are part of that consciousness, and your needs are provided for, and you are looked after, and you are protected. The more you believe that, the more you have faith in that, the more life goes your way, and the more you begin to see this sort of thing going on around you. So where's my camera? There it is, because I can't even see myself now. So Namaste, blessings and light. I hope it comes out all right, because I try and rehearse some of these videos sometimes and it just stopped. So maybe it's just better when I just come out and talk. So, all right, namaste. I will speak to you soon. Take care.